The survey's gone out. Everyone spent some time. By the way, normally it's 2 weeks. We recommend 360 survey goes out for every quarter, so they're quarterly, and they remain open for 2 weeks. The 2-week window has now ended, and everyone has a ton of great content that is available in the system. And so now this content is now going to potentially be actionable. We get to share with each other the blind spots, the hints, the feedback that we have on each other. And we get to decide what we're going to do about it. There's going to be some stuff in there that is very, very positive. It's a pat on the back. It's going to make us feel really good. And by the way, I want to encourage you guys, when you do share feedback with each other, give the good and the difficult. Now, I'm going to focus here a little bit today on the difficult, because I don't need to coach people on how to handle good feedback. You know, most people are pretty good at handling good feedback. I'm going to spend most of my time on how to handle the difficult feedback, because that's something that we all, our human reaction is sometimes not a very healthy one when we get negative feedback or difficult feedback. So just because I'm spending time on coaching on this doesn't mean that this tool is about negative feedback. This tool is about positive feedback and negative feedback, and it should be shared equally or with each other. But when you do get that difficult feedback, you got to make sure that your attitude towards it is one where hopefully you will benefit, the organization will benefit, and you will be someone that is always continually improving. And so what you have to focus on after that initial siren goes off in your head is, what is the specific nugget in there? Is there any part of this that might be true? And if there is, give yourself the opportunity to listen to it and figure out how to act on that feedback. These are the things that are going to get in your way. If you don't have these things, God bless you. But if you're a human, in all likelihood, you have these issues. And one of these is going to get set off when you get feedback that, remember, the whole point here was this is a blind spot. This is something that you were not necessarily aware of. So you need to identify this. Don't try to pretend like this doesn't exist. You are not going to be able to quell your anger, your anxiety, your shame, your insecurity if you pretend like you aren't that person. So number one, identify your emotion. Identify what you're feeling, because you're not going to be able to shut it down until you do. Once you've identified it, you have to decide if you want to get better. Because if you do want to get better, you got to get a control of that emotion. No one else is going to be able to help you but yourself. There is potentially gold in this feedback that you're getting from your coworkers, but it is going to look like anything but gold to you initially. If anything, it's going to look the complete opposite. But you got to figure out whether you want to look for that gold and take that opportunity, or whether you want to just discard it. So I'm going to share with you some of the feedback that I got. And so this is something that I recommend all leaders in organizations do with their teams. Because you want to be able to model to folks what hopefully the process looks like when you get difficult feedback. This is feedback I got on my first 3. Now, obviously, I got some positive feedback too, but I took that out and I wanted to focus on the stuff that I needed to focus on to get better. And the stuff that I needed to turn my sirens off on. Can be disconnected from the day-to-day. I had to do everything but like put my fist in my mouth to keep myself from wanting to debate this. This person doesn't even know what I have to do on a day. You know, and so easy to judge. But I'm not going to get any better if that's the attitude I take. The reality is, what I think of myself is ego. What everyone else thinks of me is reputation. And the reality is, somebody thinks I'm disconnected from the day-to-day. Okay, it's not me, or it wasn't me until it was brought to my attention, but somebody else, in their view, remember, reputation is what others think of you. Ego is what you think of yourself. Somebody else thinks this about me, and I now need to decide whether I care and whether I want to do something about it. Here's a really good one. This is, by the way, this is very effective. There's a lot of sandwiching going on here. There's some good stuff in there, but then there is a lot of nuggets in here that I've highlighted here. Conveys his thoughts as rules to be followed, tends to start talking immediately after someone finishes talking, can come across as him trying to cut that person off or even discredit what they are saying. When I first saw this, I was like, wait, I do that? And then, you know, by the way, if the siren goes off really loudly and it's really bothering you, it's probably true. You know, it's way easier to let something roll off your back when it's like completely not accurate. This one got me good, and the reason why is because it's dead on true, and people who know me know this is probably true. I didn't realize, like, I'm always trying to fill quiet. Like, you know, anytime it's quiet, I'm trying to fill it with noise, because trying to, like, you know, create activity or energy or whatever it might be. And that's why I tend to start talking immediately after someone finishes talking. But I didn't realize that it can come across as me trying to cut that person off, or even trying to, like, fill the vacuum of air and take credit for what they were saying. I can make an argument in my head as to why that's not my intent, that's not what I meant to do, all of that sort of stuff. I can sit here for the next 5 minutes and convince myself why this person is wrong. But I'm not going to get any better. As I said, ego is what I think of myself. This is my reputation. This is how the outside world sees me, and I need to decide whether I give a crap or whether I want to get better. And the reality is, I need to stop talking immediately after. Now, by the way, this is a work in progress. I'm not saying I've fixed myself, but at least this is what the definition of a blind spot is. This is something that you don't know, that you're not aware of, that you need to get better on, and you need to give yourself the opportunity to listen to it and then hopefully act on it. And this was gold. This was gold that, I will be honest with you, without this tool would have probably never been shared with me. And not because this person, and it's anonymous, so I don't know who this is. I mean, you can take guesses and all day long, but I don't know who this is. But the reality is, even if this person, let's say, had the relationship with me to be able to share this without this tool, they would have potentially never had the opportunity to. And even though I would love to think that I'm progressive and open door and easy to talk to, but maybe they wouldn't have felt safe to either. And the tool gave that mechanism. And now my behavior going forward, meaning my either listening to this feedback or going around trying to figure out who this is so I can, like, be angry at them, whichever course I take, whether I actually stop talking after people start talking, or I go around and just try to be angry at someone because of this, that course I take is going to dictate how safe this person feels going forward in giving me more feedback about my next blind spot. And if I want to get really good, I need to have that person know that I'm following that healthy path. And that's what I would encourage with you guys as well.